On Outback Truckers, veteran truckie Steve Graham is facing an epic wilderness journey.
Oh, we're heading out into the desert, 1,200 kilometres of dirt.
On some of the meanest, wildest roads in the world.
I got to watch them. They will do some damage to the bloody truck if you hit them.
It's a trip that will push man and machine to breaking point.
I'm pissed off because I had to grovel under there, because I should be able to shift that right and make the f***ing cab go up.
Heavy haulage expert Dion Fisher is in a race against the clock to deliver a monster mining rig.
It's just 500% concentration.
Any delays could cost millions. The pressure is ready to explode.
Come on, Dion.
Wait, Dave. What are you, Dave? You've done jack all morning.
Tanker driver Corey Chapman is hauling 100 tonnes of volatile fuel.
If I don't hook something up right, there's a fair old chance something's going to explode.
He's on a vital supply run.
Could be life and death for someone.
Into the very heart of the Outback.
Without fuel, there's not much can happen.
It's 5:30 a.m. on a cold winter morning in Perth, Western Australia. Legendary Outback trucker Steve Graham is getting ready for yet another perilous journey.
Oh, we're heading out into the desert. I'd just like to have a little bit of backup. You break a water tank or something, it's good to have some backup. 1,200 kilometres of dirt, you break down, the radiator on the truck wants 60 litres, I want 60 and the dog wants a drink.
Steve's heading out on a marathon 3,500 kilometre journey, like driving from London to Cairo. His first delivery will take him into the heart of Australia, to Alice Springs. Next, he'll take his road train out into the desert, to the tiny community of Kiwakura. Steve's been driving trucks for 40 years. For the last 10, he's had a companion in the cab, Boots the dog. Now, after millions of kilometres together, old Boots has reached the end of the road.
She can't get up into the truck. She's retired, and this is her pup, Teeny. Teeny's her child, and Teeny's taken over from Mum. Get up.
Teeny may be hitching a lift, but she's no joyrider. It's her job to keep Steve safe from whatever dangers the Outback can throw at him.
All the gear's good, all the gear's been serviced, but there's a lot of dirt road in front of us and a lot of corrugations. If there's something that's weak or wants to break, they'll bring it undone. Things will come undone.
With a second trailer hooked up, Steve officially becomes a road train. And if there's one thing road trains love, it's fuel. Lots of it.
So we'll be putting in about, $1,600, $800 or $900 aside. And we'll chew that up today.
Steve is an owner-operator, and keeping a truck moving is a high-stakes, high-risk business. He's calculated on this trip, he'll burn a litre of fuel per kilometre. Get it wrong, and he could pay a high price. South of Perth, an engineering team is up against the clock. 2 giant 40-metre-long steel structures are being built. They're part of a monster-sized conveyor belt destined for a mining plant. Problem is, it's almost 2,000 kilometres away in northwestern Australia. The only way to move something this big, that far, is by truck. Taking on the challenge is 32-year-old heavy haulage driver Dion Fisher.
You're worried about getting a load up the road that is of an extremely long length, extremely wide. It's just 500% concentration.
For 10 years, Dion's been driving the biggest, widest, longest trucks on the road. It's the job he always wanted.
As a kid, I always wanted to drive a big truck, and I'm following my dream.
But that dream comes with a cost.
I'm away most days of the week, most nights of the week. The kids don't like it. They love it when you're home, but unfortunately they all know Dad goes away in the truck and we'll see him when he gets home again.
Driving the biggest trucks comes with the biggest pressure. On this job, Dion's under extra stress. It's his first time as lead driver. He's the man in charge. And if anything goes wrong, it's his career on the line.
We've got lots of risks with fences, power lines, power poles.
And for Dion, it's not a great start. Loading should have begun hours ago, but last-minute changes from the owners mean work's still going on to finish the conveyors. If Dion's late, the plant may have to shut down. Workshop manager Rowan knows what that could mean.
I wouldn't want to guess how much it would cost the mine for shutting this part of the plant down, but it will be within the millions.
All Dion can do is wait. And wait. And wait. After 12 hours, the trucks are still idle. With every minute, the pressure's building on Dion.
Means for a long night and an early start tomorrow, and it's got to be done.
Soon, his police escort and pilots will arrive, expecting to hit the road at sunrise. Dion's permits only allow him to leave tomorrow. Miss his deadline, and this journey could be over before it's even begun. In South Australia, Corey Chapman is carefully preparing for a grueling 3-day Outback run. He's delivering vital supplies along the infamous Oodnadatta track. Reaching deep into the Outback, it's a 600-kilometre stretch of dust, dirt and truck-grinding hell. About the last place you want to take a 62-wheel road train. And if that weren't enough, he's carrying one of the most volatile loads there is.
Carrying petroleum products or fuel. We've got a lot of diesel and a bit of petrol, but it's pretty dangerous doing it. So hopefully we should have a pretty good run.
Corey's been driving fuel tankers for 6 years. It's his job to deliver to some of Australia's most remote roadhouses, cattle stations and communities. On this trip, he's also supplying a team of dam builders working out in the desert. Trouble is, no one's 100% sure where they are.
Have a yak with Normie, Banner Creek. He'll give you a map how to get out there.
No worries.
The job comes with huge responsibility. Customers are depending on Corey to reach them before supplies run out.
Without fuel, there's not much can happen.
On board his 50-metre truck, there's enough fuel to run a family car for 45 years.
To be around 100,000 litres of fuel on all up between all 3 trailers. It is a lot of flammable liquid, so yeah, just got to be extra careful with what we do. Anything can happen, especially with petroleum products.
Every nut and bolt must be checked and checked again. Miss something important and the results could be disastrous.
If I don't hook something up right and we get up the road and something comes adrift and it drops on the ground, well, there's a fair old chance something's going to explode. Sparks and all that kind of stuff, that's one thing that we do have to avoid.
Fully loaded, his truck weighs in at more than 100 tonnes. Ahead are 3 days in one of the toughest environments on Earth, the Outback. Down under, 90% of the population live within an hour of the coast, with good reason. A vast, barren wilderness where temperatures can reach 50 degrees in the shade. Out here, no fuel means no power, no machinery, no transport, and no chance. Outside Perth, Steve Graham's journey is just underway. He's due to deliver 40 tonnes of housing frames to Alice Springs in just a couple of days' time. But he's already worrying about his tight deadline.
I've got to be really quick because we've got these super-sized loads over there waiting to get through to Bindi Bindi, so I've just got to check my load quickly and get moving. You gonna be 5 minutes?
He's desperate to stay in front of 2 slow-moving dump trucks, but there's another problem coming up from behind. Two more massive wide loads have passed him, and before Steve can pull out, the dump trucks also hit the road.
Ah, for f***'s sake.
In this business, losing time means losing money. Steve needs to get by the rolling roadblocks.
Just just got to focus on what's going on here. I'm in the hands now of a traffic warden up there.
He's in luck. The monster trucks pull over to let traffic by.
Dealing with all these wide loads is putting me way back. It's half a day. It's what it's costing me.
Steve needs to put distance between him and the wide loads before his next stop, to pick up a third trailer. If he doesn't, he'll be back to square one. He must get back on the road as quickly as he can.
I can't muck around. I've got to just keep attacking all of the time. Now we're a 53.5 metre triple.
But as Steve's getting ready to go, the wide boys are back. He'll have to pass them all over again. Now with 3 trailers, Steve's rig is as heavy as a 737 jet and longer than an Olympic-sized swimming pool. To overtake, he'll need to travel at up to 100 kilometres an hour for 1 minute on the wrong side of the road.
All right, I'm on you now. Is everyone good to go?
It's critical he has clear communication with the other driver.
The person that I listen to the most, the voice of the other truckie, I will put my life in his hands rather than the other people's. Thanks, mate.
1 down, 1 to go.
Are you calling the triple between the tyres and the machine?
There's a problem.
Too much radio chatter.
Steve can't hear the driver.
I'm getting a bit of chatter coming over the top from other supersized loads around.
He must wait until he knows he's talking to the right truck. It's a life or death decision.
Righto, mate, I'm into it.
There's barely enough room for 2 cars. Steve needs to hold his nerve and stay on the road. It's early morning in Perth. Dion Fisher's massive mining load should have been on the road by now. Late changes to the load's design have put the move 12 hours behind schedule.
Yeah, well, it was meant to start loading at 6 o'clock yesterday morning. We started loading around 6 o'clock last night.
A police escort and pilots are already here, but the team still isn't ready to go. If they can't get away in the next few hours, they'll miss a deadline they've been working to for months. New to the team is rear trailer operator Steve, aka Slim.
Oh, I'm up, I'll go get up there and tie some.
At 28, he's the youngest member of the crew and the one Dion will push the hardest.
Come on, Stevie. Steve! Trailers to load.
Sometimes it gets a bit stroppy because still learning about it.
I'm helping you.
Slim
needs to make sure that securing the load is done to the letter.
He wants it on a better angle to pull down because I had it like that. It's wrong.
No, that's some tie wire to tie all that in. The buck stops with me. This is where we're at with the job, and need something done, it gets done.
While there's huge pressure to get underway, Dion and second driver Dave disagree about how the load should be secured.
That under there, you'd have a double strand chain.
Dion wants to use 2 chains to secure the load at key points, but Dave wants to double loop a single chain.
I'd have to wrap that around twice to make it a double strand chain.
No, you've got a full loop.
First I've heard of anything like that, Dave, so that is absolutely new to me. No, I'm not.
Yeah, but
I've just never
loop a chain.
Yeah.
It's twice as strong.
Yeah.
If we hook that under there.
Well, we can undo them all and do that if you want. No, if that's what you want, Dave.
Just when we do the next, we do it the other way.
No, we'll do it all the same, mate. I just undo them, Slim. Well, can you pick up some chains and help, Dave, or what? I was just trying to get it through my head how a 3.5 tonne chain becomes 7 tonne when it's one chain. Have a look
Here, Dave. You're pulling off a chain. Dave, I'm trying to work this out. All right, if you want to get your attitude, just off. All right? I'm trying to work it out, Dave.
Come on, hurry up.
No, I'm trying to work this out.
Yeah, just come on down.
Wait, Dave, what are you, Dave? You've done jack shit all morning. Still ain't much, mate.
In South Australia, tanker driver Corey Chapman is heading to the first stop on his Outback supply trip. For Corey, the open road is the place to be.
Can't handle people pretty much in city life. That's not me at all. I could not work a 9 to 5 job and do what everyone else asks you to do and all that kind of stuff. This is a lot better.
He'll be on the road for 3 days, but as a family man with 3 kids, at times it can be tough.
Not home a great deal. It doesn't do too much for him, but yeah, just the road that I picked.
For Corey, being away from home recently got a whole lot tougher.
We're out camping and motorbike riding, and my son come off his motorbike and broke his back, and he's a paraplegic. He's still in hospital now, which is 8, nearly 9 months ago. It's been very hard on us all. If he walks again, which I hope he does, it's going to be a long time. There's definitely no quick fix to it. Very strong little boy.
It's late by the time Corey reaches the opal mining town of Cooper Pedy. But his work isn't done yet. His truck's too big to drive into town. Before delivering to a local roadhouse, he must unhook 2 of his 3 trailers.
You can't get triple road trains everywhere down here. If you could, we wouldn't have to unhook them too often at all.
The roadhouse tanks are almost empty. For the manager, it's a relief to see new supplies.
Without them, how can they supply fuel?
With 20,000 litres of flammable liquid on board, ignition sources are Corey's major concern.
Static electricity is one thing we've got to try and avoid as much as we can. A spark can cause a fire. Best thing to do is just touch it. That gets rid of static electricity. It's passing through me and it's earthed out. And we always hook to the ground first. You always kind of got to stay pretty close to it in case a hose breaks or, you know, something gets knocked off of here or something.
At busy roadhouses like this, his other worry is smokers.
You got to tell them pretty quick. You know, it's not just them; it's everyone else that's going to go bang.
One spark too close to this load could be your last. Back in the workshop, Dion Fisher is finally able to hook up a 60-tonne conveyor. An argument with second driver Dave has been put behind them.
At the end of the day, anything in the workshop stays in the workshop.
But his team are running more than 12 hours behind schedule. Outside, the factory's being dismantled to make way for the 6-metre wide load. But there's another barrier in Dion's way. Safety inspectors have to measure every part of the load to make sure it matches Dion's paperwork. It has to be millimetre perfect. Any discrepancies could mean big delays to fix them. Time Dion doesn't have. One mistake and he won't be going anywhere. He's powerless as the inspectors decide whether he stays or goes. It's the moment of truth.
That's fine.
After all the tension and delays, Dion can finally get underway.
There we go.
The open road is in sight. But suddenly, Dion's collided with the workshop door frame. He's trapped. In South Australia, Corey Chapman's fuel run has reached the Oodnadatta track. For the next 600 kilometres, it's all dirt, all day. He's en route to one of the icons of the Australian Outback. At the Pink Roadhouse in Oodnadatta, Corey's delivering vital supplies to owner Lynn.
There's only the one pink.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Yep.
No worries at all.
Right to go.
We'll get into it. Thank you.
As well as supplying the locals, the Roadhouse has become a tourist attraction.
It started off with the Roadhouse, but as you can see around, there's the pink Volvo, there's a pink canoe out there. No, people don't expect to see a pink Roadhouse in the Outback, so...
But its survival depends on fuel deliveries.
Word gets around, if you run out of fuel, all of Australia knows. And they think that you've run out for a year, not just 5 minutes.
And that goes for the whole community.
We supply the police and the hospital with their ambulance, and if we run out of diesel, you know, it could be life and death for someone.
In the Outback, every fuel delivery is vital. By night, Corey's made another 3 stops.
One more for the night.
But to stay on schedule, he's decided to push on into the night.
Started about 6:30 this morning, 7 o'clock now, so time I do this next job, it'll be about 9:30 and that'll be about the end of the day, I think.
It's a dangerous combination. Pitch black and a narrow dirt road. It's an Outback traffic jam. Dipping the lights and blowing the horn usually clears the way, but these road hogs aren't moving.
Come on.
After almost trading paint with an oversized dump truck,
The old heart ticks away a bit there while you're doing it.
Steve Graham has reached the Great Central Road. 1,200 kilometres of hard-driving dirt highway. It's a serious challenge for any vehicle and driver brave enough to take it on. The biggest hazard are corrugations, regular bumps in the road caused by traffic. They may look smooth from a distance, but get up close and they're a real truck killer.
Do you hate them? Yes. Will you still hate them when you retire, Steve? Yes. Corrugations are the bane of my life. I hate them because they wear me out, sitting there bouncing me around, knocking me to bits. I don't like corrugations. And they knock the freight around and they make me go slower and I've got to stop and fix things all the time. I haven't got a lot of good to say about corrugations. Righto, we'll go.
To protect his truck and the freight, Steve needs to reduce the impact.
Either get up to a moderate speed where you're skating across the top of them without doing too much damage, or down to first gear if they're really, really big ones, and just put up with them. Just spend all day just climbing up and down them, basically. TV doesn't like them much either, do you, TV?
Get it wrong, and he could be joining an Outback graveyard.
There's a lot of dead ones on the side of the road. Oh, look, there's another one that didn't make it. Another one that didn't make it.
But it's not just corrugations that can cause him trouble. There are more than 1 million wild camels in the Outback, and an adult bull can weigh in at more than 700 kilos.
You sort of don't get much warning, and they will do some damage to the bloody truck if you hit them. Once one came out and he sort of propped and went back, but he his head was far enough out, it smashed the air cleaner off the side of the truck and he spun around. And the poor old fellow was in a bit of a bad way. I had to shoot that bloke. He had a broken jaw and he wasn't good.
Suddenly, out of the scrub, in Perth, Dion Fisher is stranded. The underside of his trailer has hit the workshop door frame.
Come back just a little bit slowly.
With millions of dollars at stake, more delays are the last thing he needs. His team needs to get him free fast.
Got him, mate.
You all right?
Rolling forward.
Here you go. Here we go.
Yep, all good.
It's going to be a slow, painful day getting out of town.
Finally out of the workshop, the pressure falls onto Slim. It's his job to steer Dion's rear trailer, or jinker, to get the 40-metre load around tight city streets.
The jinker driver's on the ground at all times. The truck goes quite wide around the corners.
You gonna miss me? All good, mate.
The jinker driver, he's just got to compensate for the length of the load. We've got lots of risks with fences, power lines, power poles. Real slow process.
Slim can't afford a single error. It's slow going. 1 kilometre takes nearly an hour. Up ahead, the roads are closed to make way for the massive trucks. But something is refusing to get out of the way.
A lot of the signs are designed to come out.
With this one not budging, it's down to Slim to get Dion around it.
Don't take too wide, mate. Stop. It's touching.
Let's go back a bit, mate. Have another grab.
I think we're going to miss it. We're going to get it to get down. Down. Let's go.
After getting gridlocked by cattle, Corey Chapman is back on the open road. His next stop is hard to miss. Anna Creek is the biggest working cattle station in the world. At 6 million acres, it's larger than the country of Israel. Corey wants to make his delivery as quickly as he can.
See duskets and everything on the dirt. Try and keep things clean and reduce it as much as we possibly can.
His next stop won't be so easy to find. Somewhere on this massive station are a team of dam builders who are running out of fuel.
Busy? A little bit. Let's go.
The only man who knows where they are is the station manager, Norm. And out here, the closest thing to sat-nav is a good old mud map.
Go down from Gymkhana ground.
Yep.
Go through a wide gate, follow the road, past the yard, then you go over the grid, 3K, and the road will sort of turn to your right a bit.
Yep.
So you go at about 30K and you go over one grid.
Yep.
Keep going, you'll come to a trucking yard.
Yep.
The road will go around and round it down. Just watch that, there's a few gutters in it.
Oh, righto, yep. No worries at all.
Through one more gate, you can leave him open if you want.
Righto.
And then it's about another 12K from there. You'll see Timmy's tracks are all.
Oh, righto, no worries.
Just keep following him.
Just following his tracks, I'll be right.
As clear as mud.
We'll work her out though. Can only follow the wheel tracks and hope for the best.
Steve Graham has made it through a run-in with some wild camels. But after being hammered by millions of corrugations, his truck isn't so fortunate. Several of his 62 tyres are leaking and need to be pumped up. And he's got another problem. Strong winds combined with 40 tonnes of high-sided freight means Steve's been burning more diesel than usual.
I'm concerned about my fuel, which is a bloody nuisance because if I can't get to Curtin Springs, I have to break this road train up and go into Yalara and fuel up. There's not much bloody fuel in there. It's only just enough to get me into 35 k's, I'll do it.
To make matters worse, his tyres aren't inflating. There's something wrong with the truck's air pressure system. The fault's in a valve that controls the cab suspension.
Ah, for f***'s sake.
After 3 hard days, it's the last straw.
I'm pissed off because I had to grovel under there twice in the dark last night. That's why I'm pumping my tyres up the light, because the ride height valve's not working properly and it's dumping all the air, and it's taking me a long time to pump up my tyres because the air's going out of that new valve and I can't reach under here and adjust the bloody thing. As I should be able to shift that right and make the f***ing cab go up at the ride level and shut the air off, but it's not. It's dumping out to atmosphere underneath the truck instead of going into my tyres, and it's annoying me. And once again, it's time bleeding away from me. I should be 40 kilometres down the road now and fueled up, and I'm wasting time here doing this.
The fault's affecting nearly every part of his truck.
Air brakes, air gear shift, air assisted, lots of things. Nothing happens. Without air, we don't move.
Corey Chapman is about as far off the beaten track as you can go. He's trying to find a dam building operation. Only problem, they're located somewhere on a cattle station the size of Wales. His only guide are other people's tracks.
Dam tanker bloke had been out there recently, so his tracks will be on the ground.
He's heading into unknown territory.
I haven't been out there before, so it's a bit of a feel our way and see how we go. Could be good, we could be doing an hour and a half, or it could be rat shit.
And out here, the roads can turn ugly.
These are the kind of roads that are unpredictable. A station track, you just be wary there could be a sharp gutter up the road you don't know about.
Corey's reached the fork in the road he needs to take. From now on, he's relying on his memory of the station manager's mud map.
Yeah, and I just turn right at that road where that fork's off to the right there, and you can't go wrong. Happens quite a fair bit, you do go wrong.
Ahead, there's a barren landscape as far as the eye can see. No landmarks, no signs, nothing. All Corey has is instinct.
You kind of get a bit of a gut feeling if you think you're not on the right road.
Temperatures are into the high 30s. It's a dangerous place to get lost.
24,000 square kilometres. She's a big area.
Corey's unsure where he is.
Hopefully this is one of the turns.
If he can't find the dam builders soon, their whole operation will shut down. His name and business are on the line. He needs help. His hopes rest on a satellite phone call.
Tell me every time you want to use a bloody sat phone.
Perth, Dion Fisher's supersized convoy is pushing hard to get out of the city before sunset. It's vital he makes up lost time. Once it goes dark, he'll be forced to pull over for the night.
It's always slow and tedious out of town, very hard on the gear.
Guiding Dion through the city is his team of pilots. He's completely reliant on them.
All we see is the outer edges, lots of blind spots, and you've got to have a lot of faith in the team you're working with. If we don't get it positioned correctly on the road, there's every chance we could take a power pole down.
Yeah, you're clear.
Thanks, mate.
Dion's made it onto the busy main highway, but every few kilometres, the convoy has to stop to let traffic by. As he can only travel during daylight, at this pace, Dion's in real danger of missing tonight's stopping point. And there's another hazard up ahead. a series of low bridges.
Bridges are always a pressure point. Doesn't matter how many times you measure, you can always be wrong.
Dion should be able to clear them, but one tiny mistake and his career and millions of dollars could be on the line.
Dave.
Yeah, that was a bit lower there.
The last is the lowest of them all.
You generally take it nice and easy and hopefully nothing goes bang.
If you were to hit the bridge with a larger machine, something say 6 metres or something, you could tear the bridge down.
Having navigated the bridges, Dion has a clear run to his stopping point. But suddenly, second driver Dave has an emergency. One of his brakes is jammed. It's close to catching fire.
Away from that corner, mate.
Somewhere in the South Australian outback, Corey Chapman's having no luck with a temperamental satellite phone. He needs help to find a team of dam builders. Out here, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
How you going, boss? Might just keep sneaking along.
It's good news. He's right where he should be and can get back on the road. Or what's left of it.
That's where you break axles.
At last, the dam builders' camp comes into view. The mud map was right all along.
Turn right at that fork, turn right at that fork, go around that dam and watch that gutter and keep driving and you'll come across him and he's pretty much spot on.
The diggers have been out here for weeks, working in one of the toughest environments on Earth.
There's a man.
For the boss, Tim, it's a relief to see Corey. He's made it just in time.
This one here is empty.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Fuel is the lifeblood of the camp, powering everything from machinery and generators to fridges and phones. The nearest depot is 800 kilometres away. Without fuel trucks, the whole operation would grind to a halt.
Too easy. All done.
It's been another grueling run, but after 1,500 kilometres, it's finally time to head for home. He's journeyed through some of the toughest terrain in the country, to the edge of the map and beyond. But for Corey Chapman and those whose lives depend on him, what matters is the job's done and the tanks are full.
Probably got about 65 k's to get in. At this rate, it'd be good to get into town tonight.
Dion Fisher has got a serious problem on his hands. His second driver, Dave, has jammed a brake. It's dangerously overheating. Dave needs to wait for the brake to cool down before he can try and repair it. If they can't fix the fault, his journey could be over right here. All Dion can do is wait. And wait, as more precious minutes tick by. At last, in the rearview mirror, there's good news. Dave's back on the road. But the delay has given Dion another headache. He's almost out of daylight. His permit states he must be off the road by nightfall. There's no way he'll be able to reach his planned stop. He needs to find somewhere soon that's big enough to accommodate the two massive trucks. And the road's piling on the pressure.
It's one of our worst bit of roads that we go on. It's narrow, got big rocks on the edges.
Dion still has 1,700 kilometres to go to reach his destination, and he's massively behind schedule. He faces an uphill battle to get his load in on time. One lapse in concentration, and this trip could end in a heartbeat. Steve Graham has finally got enough air in his tyres and is limping into town. He needs fuel fast.
It's nearly on empty.
And his engine is starting to protest. Finally, he's made it, but this stop is going to be painful.
$2.11 a litre. Putting fuel in at that price, when that happens, that does hurt you. 470 litres, $1,000. I've got to pay for it, shed a tear, buy something bad for me like chips or something.
It's time for Steve to pull over for the night and get some much-needed rest. In the morning, he'll start the second leg of his journey to one of the most isolated communities in the world. But before he hits the sack, Steve wants to check his truck. If he's to carry on, he must be sure it's good to go. The faulty valve is still leaking, but under the hood, there's even more bad news. It's his air compressor. Its paintwork is cracked and the washers sealing it have bent out of shape.
I don't know why these are lifting. I might have to make a phone call on this. I have heard the thing where I thought it was a ride height valve, I might actually have a compressor that's playing up here.
His $90,000 engine is barely a few weeks old. Repairs won't be cheap.
Those compressors are about $6,000 each.
And the replacement parts are over 2,500 kilometres away. The fate of Steve's journey and his truck hang on an SOS to his mechanic.
I'm in Alice Springs. I've got the bonnet up here.
He's a phone call away from make or break.